Were my CPR/AED bloodborne pathogen lifeguard certificates called upon in Africa in 2012? So it's a little bit later now. It's a Saturday, 17 January 2026. And here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, reflect on whether a few of my certifications, including CPR/AED, bloodborne pathogen, and lifeguard, were called upon as part of my time studying abroad in South Africa in 2012. 6-month student visa, January 2012 to June 2012. I held more than one of the aforementioned medical certifications for my work positions 2007 to 2012, 14 to 19 years of age inclusive. Yes, so I started working when I was 14 years of age in like a formal work institution kind of setting. And we, as part of that job, we did have the basic CPR AED for where I was working in through 2012 to 19 years of age. I did have to maintain that, and I had positions where there was bloodborne pathogen training I had to go through. There was lifeguarding, which in addition to getting the certification and taking the class and passing the test to even take the class, there was the city of Seattle, the department parks of not everybody did it, but some of us did, and it was required for one of my positions. There was a lifeguarding skills test, so like a proficiency test, and so for the city of Seattle. And so when I went to South Africa and I lived there, were these called upon as part of my time studying abroad. And for some people, I'd be like, why or what? And so a lifeguarding position is sit and or stand, and we're monitoring the water for problems and enforcing rules so that people don't get hurt, or making rescues if we need to. And so there's kind of like an assumption and a base kind of criteria of if we are capable of helping in a situation off the lifeguard stand, so to speak, off the pool deck, off whatever setting, would we help? And it was actually an interesting one. Kind of a little bit of my international travel with medical restrictions, because my best friend from my time in South Africa was also a swim instructor. So this was something that we ended up together because of our, as a paid professional, I have had more than one medical certification, meaning I had income from work positions requiring me to have at least one medical certification. And that matters in a place like Africa, where the health coverage was a little bit different than here in the United States of America. And our outlook was perhaps a little bit different in how we approach things, and also just kind of basic safety. So there was a little bit of it was an interesting thing to go, halfway across the world, only to have my best friend be yeah, we both have those, CPR, AED certifications, and yeah, that is that's a real bonding thing. So in terms of bonding, yes. In terms of it being a medically, the government called on us, no. Socially, there was a bit of, we were treated a little differently in the sense of we did have this training that other people didn't, didn't have. I would almost go we're more seeking independence of from us kind of thing, which we didn't impose on them, but that what happens in Africa stays in Africa mentality. We weren't like that. we carried our certifications with us, so to speak. It's training and real experience, so it's not something we can just leave the card at home and forget the skills. So There was a little bit of, I would say, maybe friction between us people who had medical certifications that were required as paid professionals and people who were not. So it was a basic medical community stigma did apply to me and my friend. Maybe is a way of phrasing it. So I got a little bit of an introduction as to like having that in my work history. Yeah. And then which is important now for my low blood pressure journey, because it adds in a component of like, yes, what I do is cool, but a lot of people don't like the medical community or medical professionals or paid professionals with medical certifications. So I do keep that in mind in terms of like my own, how I present myself and how I think about things and talk about things, and like trying to be approachable, perhaps. So there we go. Were my CPR/AED bloodborne pathogen lifeguard certificates called upon in Africa in 2012.